Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm brand new. My name is Reggie. I'll be going through some tutorials on how to use Onshape. Onshape is a platform where you can make your own 3D models of whatever you can imagine. We'll start off with some basics on how to create a new product. Okay, so we'll start off with making a plane and going through um, sketches, basic 2D sketches, and then we'll jump into some 3D, um, 3D boxes, something simple for starters. And yeah, so first we're gonna go hit create up top, and we'll make another document. I made a folder where I call it edu tutorials, and in that folder I'm going to name my first tutorial, so call it tut 1, something simple, and that will create a new file for us. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So we'll start with a new workspace, and we're greeted with a page like this. On this page, you can practically, using the middle scroll wheel, clicking it will rotate your workspace like that. What I like to do is start with the top, and I would like to go here on the side, and I'd like to hide the front and the right side. That way I have a nice clean working environment. In this working environment, what we like to do is we start with a sketch that selects our plane, which is the top plane, and then it appears sketch 1. People like to rename this, but we'll get into that later on. And in this sketch, what we'd like to do is, depending on really what you're making, but today we're going to be making a square, like a simple basic like cube, I guess. So start off with a corner rectangular. So if you go over with the mouse, or if you click on it with your on your iPad or whatever you have, you can go here and you select your rectangle. Um, what I like to do is I like to select if you click the arrow next to it, I like to select the center point of rectangle. That allows me to drag from this center dot always outwards, rather than, I'll show you the other one, rather than going corner rectangle where the corner is on the center, so like that. So what I like to do is start with the center. That allows me to align everything else equally. So we like, what a lot of people need in their first project is to learn how to add measurements to a rectangle. For example, right now I have this and that line parallel, and this and that line parallel. We need a measurement for this, so what we'd like to do is we go up here to dimension. That will allow us to give a line a measurement. So if we select that, D, if you press D, or you go with the mouse here and select that, you click on the line and it appears your measurement. So as soon as you click it, you will be able to drag it around if you want it here, or if you want it here, or if you want it there. I like to keep it center. So as soon as I click it, it appears my numbers are highlighted in blue. Or in other cases, it will ask you to delete it or do other things depending on which device you are. So on PC, you just click, drag, and click again, and then this appears. We'll make this one a 50 by 50. Obviously, my measurements are in millimeters, so I just write that. Or if you have inches, you write inches, so in, and I'll make it inches. So I'll just zoom out. Obviously, I don't want that in inches. I'll select that in 50 millimeters, just like that. That brings my square back to smaller. And yeah, so what I like to do is I always stay on the top plane, or if I want to drag to change view, I use the middle click. So the wheel, you click on it and you drag. But for a 2D sketch, I always stay on a singular plane. So what I'll make is a cube, and I already have the dimension selected, and I'll press again on this line, and I'll click again. I'll make that 50 millimeters, so I have a perfect square. So here, now that I have my square, I would like to make it 3D. To make it 3D, you would exit the sketch by selecting the green tick on the top left. You select that, and here's your gray box. So that's your gray box. And you'll select this extrude function. So you'll see like a square on top of the square. It'll be called extrude. And what you do is, once you press on it, this box here will appear. Your depth is normally how much you would like to extrude, like how much you would like it to pop out from your 2D sketch. I'll show you in just a second. You have your blind function, which means is one way. You can select it to be up to next, which will mean up to the next nearest surface, but that's only if you have another surface next to you. Then you have up to the face, so is where you would select a certain face if you have another face of that object, which in my case I don't. So normally I would go to blind. I would go up here where it says faces and sketch regions to extrude. I would select this square, and now that it's selected, in my depth, I will write my depth 50 millimeters. That will make myself perfect cube. So I have my blue cube now, as you can see, and I can go here and I can select that corner, and that will bring me to this plane. So now I can hide my top sketch, my plane, my sketching plane, and I have my cube. So there's some basic here, and yeah, so that's how you make your first cube. Let's add a bit of detail to it. So let's say I want a circle inside of it, like I want this to be a little bit hollow. To make it hollow, all you do, you'd select your sketch, you'd right click on it, and you'd select edit. What this will do is will take you back to making your 2D sketch. So this is my square that I made earlier. To make it hollow, you will like to, rather than to remove, you'd like it to have it in your first sketch. So something like this, you would select a circle or a rectangle or whatever you want, and you would add it here, and you would give it a measurement. Let's say I make this 30, okay, and I make it 30, so practically inside I will have this empty and that full. So if I agree to it and I select it, this is what happens. So this is hollow now, and the outside is full. So here's a square within a square. And then let's say I want to make it a bit more complicated, I'll go to edit, and I would select this inside, and I'll just remove it like that by pressing delete. I will add a circle by selecting this one here, center point, or you can go from different 3-point circle, ellipse. Sorry guys. So 3-point circle, you would drag from the center and you will select 3 points of how you want your circle, which is not going to be symmetric. So I like the center point circle because a lot of objects in our world is actually circular, believe it or not. So I'll select that and go circle. My radius is that 0/over. What I'd like it to be, I would like to make that radius, let's say, so the radius is measured by, I'm pretty sure it is, wait, sorry, my bad, that's not a radius, that's the dimension. This dimension is measured from one side to the other, and you can make a radius by selecting different ways. So to make it a radius, you'd select the center and you'll select that, and it should give you the radius, I think. Yeah, there we go, that's your radius there. And of course you cannot add two, so I'll delete this. So let's go again. I select this and that will give me my radius. Okay, well, but that's the radius. It says it cannot do it, but that's your radius, and this is your dimension. So my dimension, I wanted 40. Remember, always keep in mind that your dimension is half of your radius. Sorry, your radius is half of your dimension. So radius is from here to here, and dimension is from here to here. So it's always half. Now that I made it 40, let's go here. I have my cube with a cylinder. Now I want to add another two cylinders to make it something absolutely hollow. So what I would like to do is go on the left surface. I'll select sketch and I'll select that surface. So when I select sketch and I select that surface, it makes another plane, and on top of that plane it makes another sketch. So practically, if I look here on the side, my sketch is exactly on that surface rather than offsetted. Of course, if you'd like to select sketch and you'd like to offset it, you go to hold up, just trying to figure it out actually. Plane, there we go. You select your plane, they'll offset it, and let's say I'd like to offset it 10. So by default, it automatically makes the plane on that surface when you select sketch. But if you want to offset it, this is how you do it. So you would select up top here with this one here, this plane. This is your plane. And then if you want to make a sketch on that, you can do that too. And as you can see, it makes my sketch on that plane. But I don't want to do any of that, so I'm going to delete it. And I'll just want to make a simple sketch on that surface, on my left surface. And on that, I would like to find the center. And you're probably wondering, how you finding the center? Well, to find the center of it, what I like to do is I like to drag a line from one corner to the other. That makes me a center point. So if I go here on my circle, my center is that square. So when I put my mouse here, it gives me that point. When I get to the center with my mouse, it finds me my center point, which is this one here, this square. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's my center point. It even tells you here, looking at that little line. And there, I have my circle. Now my diameter is 45. So my other circle's diameter was 40. So if I select that and I select my dimension, click on that circle, and there I have my 40 diameter. Okay, so I agree to that, and then I press on extrude. Now I would like to select, instead of a solid, I would like to select solid, and I would like to remove the surface, and I would keep it as blind. Actually, if I'm removing it, I would like to select through all, because I want to go all the way through the other side, and I would like to select my two halves that I have. Just that. Then I press OK, and voila, I have now created somewhat of a decent hollow shape. Now let's add another cylinder on the front, which is this surface here that I haven't done yet. Same process, sketch, select that surface, drag your line from corner to corner, escape to stop it from going more, select your circle, find your center, then go to dimension, select that circle, write it as 40 millimeters. And the bright side is that when you go to enter your measurement, you don't have to, if you written in millimeters before, the default will stay millimeters. But let's say you want to convert it to inches, or you don't know how much millimeters is in inches or meters, you just write that meter thing. You write meters or inches, and it will do it all for you. So that's amazing. You select your two halves, and you would through all, and there we go. Now if you look at my thing, I have a square, I have a cube with 6 holes. Okay, now I would like to add another thing to it. We'll learn how to do a nice curvature around this edges. So if you see here, my edges are really sharp. And if you were to produce this type of product, you would have a really sharp corner here, and this is a toy for kids. It's dangerous. So obviously what you would like to do is you'd like to smoothen out those edges, even if it is by a little bit. So that function is called a fillet. So to do a fillet, what you need to do is you need to go here and you would select fillet. So there's different types. You have your chamfer and you have your fillet. So chamfer is a straight edge with another two corners which are less sharp. If you do a fillet, it makes your corners curved. So I'll show you both. So I have base blend and I have fillet. So what I'll do is fillet, and I would like to select, so entities to fillet, you would select your corner. So this corner here, I want to fillet. I have my measurement set to radius, or I can do it to width, but I'll keep it as radius as I want both corners, both sides of this corner, like this top and this bottom, to be even. So my radius, I'd like, because my cube is 50 millimeters, right? My radius, I would like to, let's say, add 5 millimeters. Doing that will make my radius go 5 millimeters up and 5 millimeters down. So it will look something like this. So looking from this side here, you can see that it went from this point all the way up to that point there. So this is 5 millimeters to the right and 5 millimeters down. That's symmetric. Now let's say I would like to make this corner here, I like a nice corner rather than to have a fillet, which is a curve here and a sharp edge there. So it's very simple. You would right click here, you would edit your fillet, and you would select that one too. And if you don't want the corner here, you select that one too. That's it. And it automatically rounds this edge for you, and it looks amazing, I'm telling you. So let's say I don't want it so much seen, you know, because this here can give a weakness to your product. So if I don't want it to be seen so much and I don't want to have a weakness, I'll go back to edit and I'll reduce this radius to, let's say, 2.5, so 2.5 millimeters. And there I have this. I'll select all the edges. So now, as you see, I have selected all my edges and I approve it and I get it done. So now when I'm looking at my product, you can see that every single surface that I have here is smooth. The only ones that are not smooth and I have sharp edges is the interior ones. So on my exterior, if I was to touch this, it would be extremely smooth. So yeah, that's pretty basic. So this is all for today's tutorial, how to make a little square. And I hope you guys learned something from this. And we'll be releasing more videos of how to do this. So this is the product of today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.